welcome to Unsettling Tales of True Horror. I'm Celeste.
And I'm Mason. Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back. Okay. Um so Mason, how was your spring break? It's Thursday, so your spring break's about to be over.
Good. Yeah. Baseball practice on Monday. And then on Tuesday and Wednesday we had baseball games.
Why did I feel like your spring break flew by?
It did.
Well, like I said in my last episode, my whole cake pop story. um I ended up finding my cake pops on in the middle of the street near where I live, and they were completely run over all over the floor. So yeah, nobody got free cake pops, unfortunately.
Did you
But
go and look for them or how'd you find them?
no, I went on a walk with Oakley, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna walk a specific way because I was like, I'm really curious where these cake pops went. Like, there's no way they just
Yeah.
disappeared in thin air. So I was like, let me go walk, and I found them in the street. So yeah, my cake pops got ran over, which I'm not
Jeez.
surprised. Other than that, my week has been okay. I've been trying to sleep train Oakley, and we have our days. I'm just
Mm.
exhausted 24/7, so that's always fun. This episode is called Ariel School UFO Incident. Okay, and my sources are vice.com and Wikipedia. I know Wikipedia isn't the best place to get my information because anybody can edit Wikipedia, but that's where I got my information. So, okay. Now, before we jump into anything, I want to know what you think about UFOs and aliens, and do you believe in them?
I don't really believe in them. I just see a bunch of stuff talking about them and then people say they try to like debunk it or whatever.
Okay,
So
so you don't believe in it
yeah.
at all.
Not maybe a little bit, but not really.
So you believe we are the only beings in the entire universe.
No, I know there's more, but I just don't
Okay,
know
so then would
about
they not
aliens.
be extraterrestrial life then? Or
Yeah, I
would
don't know
they?
about that.
Well, extraterrestrials are aliens. So if you
Yeah.
believe that we're not the only beings, what else is out there?
Maybe dinosaurs are still alive.
Maybe on another planet or in another universe. In another universe, I'm sure. Or in a parallel universe. That's another thing. I feel like there's so much I want to talk to you about that I get so excited over parallel universes and conspiracies and aliens and people that are
Mhm.
ufologists. Anyways, okay. So let's just get into the story and then we'll talk a little bit more because I think we might do another episode on aliens because I am so fascinated. Okay. Our story today is located in Ruwa, Zimbabwe, and the date is September 16th, 1994. So, Ruwa at the time was known as a small agricultural region. It wasn't even a town, it was a little more than what was described as crossroads. The school was very expensive, so the kids who attended the school came from wealthy families. Um, and their main language over there is English, by the way.
Mm.
Okay. It was Friday morning when the children were showing up at Ariel School getting ready for their day of learning. At about 10 a.m., the kids went outside for their mid morning recess. There was about 62 kids ranging in age from 5 to 12 years old. The teachers stayed in their classroom during this morning recess because they were actually having a meeting together. So during this mid morning recess is when kids saw one or two silver disc shaped crafts descending from the skies and landing in the field near the school. They saw what they described as 1 to 4 creatures dressed in all black, and they described it as like scuba suits, like that really tight fitting black
Mhm.
clothing. Okay, um,
Yeah.
dressed in all black emerged from the crafts. The beings were small, with large heads and huge eyes. Many of the children ran away, instantly, because obviously that's terrifying. And mostly the older kids stayed and watched what had happened, or what was happening. The
Yeah.
beings then approached the kids that were left there, and they began communicating telepathically with them. And the message that they received was about the environment. So The report said that this message specifically was about how people were causing harm to the planet and the world would end if they didn't take care of it. So that's when the creatures went back into their aircraft and took off. The children went back into their classrooms and told their teachers about what had happened. However, the teachers just brushed them off, thinking that they were making this up. The following day, many parents went to the school with concerns about what had happened. Because, I mean, if this happened, well, all the kids are going to go home and tell their parents, like, what had happened, and obviously the parents are going to be concerned.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh-huh.
so, this incident was then reported on ZBC radio, where a woman named Cynthia Hind learned about it. Cynthia ended up visiting the school just 4 days later on September 20th. She interviewed multiple students and asked for them to draw a picture of what they had seen. Cynthia realized all of the children were telling the same story at this point, okay? If you're not watching the video version of this video on YouTube or Rumble, and you're just listening to the podcast version, I will post the image of what the children drew on my TikTok page as well. You can find the link down below. After this event happened, it became known as one of the most prolific UFO sightings to date, especially in Africa. And many
Mm-hmm.
ufologists continue to use this case as compelling evidence of extraterrestrial visits to Earth. Skeptics suggest the incident was one of mass hysteria or a prank, and it was also argued that maybe the children misidentified a dust devil, which there is no way you're going to mistake a dust devil for aliens and a UFO. Do you know what a
Yeah,
dust
there's
devil
no
is?
like like a dust storm.
Yeah, so well, it's like a tornado, but it's just dust. Like, there's no way
Mm.
you're gonna say, "Oh, I think that's a shiny object coming down from the sky, and it's a UFO with aliens." Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's two different things.
Yeah. This event has significantly affected the individuals that were involved, still to this day. So these kids are obviously now grown, and this is still a huge part of what happened to them growing up. One of the witnesses said that she fears the creatures will come back and she can sense when they're back in the atmosphere. Another witness named Emily Trim showed off paintings that she described as a manifestation of the messages she received from the beings that day. So there's actually a documentary that came out in 2023 called Encounters. You can find it on Netflix, and it's based on this event. It's like episodes. I think it's called Believers. And in this documentary, they actually bring forth some of the students who are now adults and interview them to get their thoughts now on what happened versus then. They actually even have like the original footage of when they were interviewed as children, which is pretty cool. So, one of the students in particular, named um, Dallin, I think how you pronounce it, he actually made a confession saying, "No, I didn't see the UFO, and I made the whole thing up." He claimed that he was wanting to get out of class, and he and a friend came up with a crazy idea which never should have worked. He began pointing at a rock that was shining in the sun, saying, "There's a spaceship and there's an alien." And he said within half an hour, all of the kids were talking about it. All of the kids were running around. The whole school was buzzing. My thing with his confession, I don't believe it whatsoever, to be honest. I feel like it's more of
Mm-hmm.
like, I made this whole thing up. Look how big it's gotten. Or more of like, look how big this event has gotten. The whole world, not the whole world, but multiple people know about this event. I feel like he's trying to take credit for it, to be honest. And I don't believe him
Yeah.
whatsoever. Because I think I mentioned this in the beginning. I don't know. I believe in aliens. I believe in UFOs. I believe in extraterrestrial life. I don't believe we're the only ones
Mm-hmm.
in this world. I think there is other things out there.
Have you seen a UFO before?
I have not, but I wish I have. I so wish I have. There's
Yeah.
actually a case. There's actually a lot of sightings here in Arizona. There's one in particular
Uh,
called the Phoenix Lights. That's also a movie. Obviously, with movies, they're going to be dramatized, so take it with a grain
yeah.
of salt. But yes, a lot of people see some crazy stuff here. and I wish I was
Yeah,
one
I
of them.
heard New Mexico's like one of the biggest places about it.
Yes, that's where Roswell is. I want to go to Roswell so bad. They actually have a McDonald's there that's all
Yeah, and they
alien
have
themed
yeah.
and
Yeah, I
UFO in
saw that
space.
today.
Yeah. Wait, you saw that today?
That's why I brought it up. Yeah.
Why? Why'd you see
On
that?
YouTube. I was watching a video on it.
What a coincidence. Like, you had no
Yeah.
idea I was doing a video on aliens, and then all of a sudden, like,
Yeah, I know.
that's weird. Maybe there's an alien talking to you. Just watch the video. I'm just kidding. Um, but yeah, so you know about the Roswell case then.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah, that case is crazy. They actually came out and said I'm pretty sure they thought it was like a weather balloon, which obviously is not true. But you do you believe in that?
No.
You don't believe that it was aliens or a UFO or spaceship.
No, you said the weather balloon. I don't believe it was that.
Okay, so you believe it was extraterrestrial life.
Something, yeah.
Okay. So my question to you would be if it wasn't, why was the government so adamant that it was a weather balloon, even though now we know it wasn't a weather balloon? And why were they so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, why did they try so hard to cover it up and like get there as quickly as they did so that things wouldn't get out of hand? Why do you think the
Maybe they
government?
just didn't want like the community around to know about it. Like they just wanted to hide it up.
But
So it wasn't a big
why?
deal.
But why?
I don't
If
know.
it was a weather balloon, why?
Yeah.
Exactly. See, so like, you know that they're definitely hiding stuff. You know about Area 51, right?
hmm
Okay. Do you know what they're doing there? Like an idea?
Um, they have aliens there.
Okay. So that's my thing is I'm not judging or anything. You can have your own beliefs. I'm just very curious as to like people who don't believe in aliens or UFOs, like why they don't. When the government tries to hide so much, not just aliens and UFOs, but they hide a lot of things from us. But like, that's like one big thing. Especially, okay, have you seen the video where there's a guy in a aircraft and he spots a UFO? So it's an unidentified flying object, okay? And it's moving very erratically and fast, and they're able to like track it. And they
Oh, I
did.
didn't see that.
Okay, well, this is an old video. They debunked it. They kept saying no, like that's not a UFO. It's fake footage. Well, they finally came out and said yes, it is a UFO.
Jeez.
So it's like, but then again, UFO doesn't automatically mean extraterrestrial. It just means it's something in the sky that's flying that we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I was saying, like there's just so much I can talk about with this, and like I know there's a lot that you don't know. So it's like I'm just so intrigued, and I just want to tell you all of it. So I'm saying we might
hmm
do another episode on this.
Okay.
Okay, there was other students in that documentary, like Emma and Salma, who do remember the encounter, and they say that no, it was not fake. There's actually a lot of students and individuals that were there that remember this and say it wasn't fake. So Dallin was the only one saying that this was fake. Maybe he didn't actually see it, to be honest, and maybe he's trying to like be a part of the story
hmm
because out of all the students, him being the only one saying that it wasn't true, trying to take accountability for it, it just seems like he's trying to be like a he just wants people to know who he is. That's what I
Yeah,
think.
he's just trying to be different. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, first off, do you believe these kids? Do you believe they saw something?
Yeah.
Okay. So then with that, I'm going to say that 2 days prior to that event, so 2 days prior to that would be September 14th at around 9 p.m. in South Africa, people reported seeing a bright object or objects moving through the sky. And the reason I say object or objects is because some people
hmm
only saw one object where others saw multiple objects moving together. and it was described as being bigger than a plane. I heard people ask if this was in fact true and this really did happen, why were the extraterrestrials going to children? And
Yeah, I don't know.
what do you take? What is your take on that? Why do you think? Just a guess.
Because most of them would believe it because they're younger,
Okay, yeah.
and they'll spread the news quicker than the older people would.
Okay. I mean, yes, I agree that they're younger, so they're gonna believe. But also, I think the reason that they went to the kids is because they're the next generation, right? And they went and relayed this message telepathically saying that basically the earth is not doing good. What us as humans are doing to the earth is not what we should be doing, and we're ruining it, especially with technology, with the
Mhm.
advancement of technology and where we're at and everything. This was in 1994, okay? So it's obviously a different time,
Yeah.
technologically speaking. Um, so they're obviously concerned about our planet, and they're thinking maybe if they go to the kids, as they grow up as the next generation, maybe they'll have more of an impact. Well, they will have more of an impact of how things happen in the world, and they might better
Yeah.
our planet. So that's my reason
Mhm.
why I think they went to the kids.
Yeah, that's why I said they might relay the message easier and faster than the older people.
Yeah. There's so many different sightings and things out there that have to do with UFOs and aliens. And one in particular, I actually was just doing a little TikTok video on it of a man, Travis Walton. Okay.
Mhm.
So there's a man named Travis Walton, and he was working with like a logging crew in the woods in Arizona. And
Mhm.
it was late at night when him and a group of guys were in a truck driving down the road next to the forest, okay? They saw this blue beam of light like within the trees of the forest, and they stopped. Travis actually jumped out of the car and ran towards this light to go see like what was going on. As he got closer, the light shined on him, and the people in the truck got freaked out, so they took off. And they
Uh,
came back 15 minutes later to like get Travis and see what happened, and Travis was completely gone. So,
how would you leave them?
because they got scared. I mean, yeah, you shouldn't have left him, but anyways, so they got scared, so they took off.
15 minutes is a
Because
big break to come back after.
I know, it's because this beam of light is like on an object, and all of a sudden, as soon as Travis gets close, the light moves to him, like acknowledging that they see him. Like that's
Uh,
scary. Like you don't know what this light is. So they took off, they come back 15 minutes later, Travis is missing. So a search party is looking for him. 5 days and 6 hours go by, and Travis all of a sudden just walks out of the forest and calls his sister on a payphone like nothing happened. And he told her, like, he needed to be picked up, obviously, because his friends were missing, like, they weren't there. He had no idea he'd been
yeah.
missing for 5 days and 6 hours, okay? And
Uh,
so he, long story short, was abducted. And this
yeah.
is actually a very well known case as well. Um, They actually used his story in a movie I saw. I can't remember what movie it is, but yeah, and he ended up claiming that as soon as the light like shined on him, he passed out, and when he came to, he saw little bald creatures working on him in a hospital-like room, and then a human came and got him, brought him in another room, and then more humans came over, put a clear plastic mask over him, and the next thing he knew, he woke up in the forest and he walked to go call his sister. What do you think of that story?
Crazy story.
It is a
How
crazy
he
story.
sees all that. And he doesn't know it's been 5 days.
But do you believe him?
Sort of, yeah, because they said that they came back and he wasn't there, so
Yeah. I
something
think
had to been
it's
happening.
yeah, I think it's crazy, especially if he went missing for 5 days. Like you don't just go
Yeah, and
missing.
they saw the light, so yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple people that I want to talk about just really quickly because I know you have no idea who they are. Uh I know you're kind of like on the fence of believing UFOs and aliens,
Mhm.
but there is two guys that I know that can give you some more information on it, and I'm very intrigued by their stories. So one of them is Bob Lazar, and he worked at Area 51. When you work at Area 51, you have to like sign a like disclosure that you like can't talk about your work even after
Yeah,
you're
you
not
can't
working
say
there.
anything.
Yeah, because it has to stay silent.
Almost like the FBI. You can't
Yeah,
say anything about it.
yeah. He worked there and he tells some crazy stories about aliens and alien technology, their spacecrafts and stuff like that. And like I've even heard that in Area 51, they're 5 years more advanced in technology than we are to this date, if that makes sense. So like
Yeah.
they have technology that's like 5 years in the future that like
So they've had the iPhone way before us.
I don't know like if it's like the iPhone, but I'm speaking more of like aircraft, like weapons, things of that nature.
It's flying cars.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Anyways, so Bob Lazar was actually hired to work in Area 51 to reverse engineer extraterrestrial weapons and spacecraft. So that basically means he was they have in possession like aircrafts and weapons from like aliens that I've even heard. I mean, this is all, speculation. We may never actually know, but this is
Mhm.
what he's saying. So he said that he like took apart these things to figure out how they were built. And one story was really crazy where he talks about how he reverse engineered a spacecraft. And I'm pretty sure he said that it could go invisible, which makes sense because, there's a lot of footage of spacecrafts, UFOs, like
Yeah.
disappearing in thin air.
Uh-huh.
Um, Before I get into this other person, there's another thing I just remembered that so you know how our um planet is mainly made up of water. What if I've seen a lot of things on this too? Aliens are living underwater.
Yeah,
Like
because we haven't
we
searched it
haven't
all. We haven't found
yeah,
out
we
what we
haven't
could do anything.
discovered. I don't like talking about the water because the water terrifies the crap out of me, and what's in the water, I'm not a fan of. I could never work anywhere near water, which is why I live in Arizona and it's just dry desert. Um, but there's footage of like again, we don't know if it's real, UFOs like going into the water or even like footage of like people being on boats and you see lights under the water moving, but there's nothing
Mhm.
above them. There's got to be something below them with lights and it's not a submarine. So it's like there's so many things. So the next person that is very familiar with like UFOs and aliens is Dr. Stephen Greer, and he's a ufologist, and he also came up with like this company. I can't think of the name of it, um, but he is very into like meditation and things of that nature, and he does this thing. I cannot think of the name of it for some reason, where him and a group of people will go out into the middle of like the desert or like go on a hike in mountains and like set up a little area with like a fireplace, not a fireplace, a fire pit and all of that. And so they go to these locations and collectively they start meditating, and it's this thing where they like telepathically while meditating talk with extraterrestrials. So it's like you do it so many times to almost like get communication going. And after a while,
Mhm.
you have to picture okay, so picture you're meditating, right? Okay. And you're picturing like you're in outer space looking at Earth. Okay. And
Mhm.
you're almost like a video, like you're zooming in from outer space into Earth all the way to where exactly you're located at.
Yeah.
And that's basically telling the aliens where you are. And they do this.
Dang.
I wish I can remember the name, but they do this out collectively to show where they're at so that they can get a visit from the beings. And
Mhm.
they actually have footage, videos, and pictures of beings on camera. And one of them looks like, actually, a few of them look like fairies almost. Like, it's so, like, tiny little things, movements. And it's like
Yeah.
flashes of light. And if you like pause it, you can see like a body outline in it. And they're tiny. So, like, you know how a lot of people say aliens are like giant beings, big heads? Well, there could be other creatures and other aliens of that sort, you know? Like, I don't know, it's just so
Yeah.
crazy. That's what I'm saying. We can do like a whole other video on this because this is so interesting to me and I love talking about it. But if you're interested, we can do that. Also, those of you listening, if you're interested in us doing another episode like this, or even going into more depth of Dr. Stephen Greer and what he does, or Bob Lazar and the stories that he talks about, let me know and we can talk about it because Mason has no idea about any of this, and I'm so excited to tell him and get his thoughts on it. But yeah, that is our story today. And overall, I 100% believe those kids. I definitely
Yeah.
believe they saw something that day. Any other thoughts, ideas, anything you gotta say?
No.
That's it. All right. Well, that is the end of our episode today. Thank you for listening this far. But until next time, we will see you guys later. Bye.
Thank you for coming to this episode. Bye.
Bye.